Have you ever wanted something so badly, like every fiber of your being, that every little bump in the road felt like a train wreck? It felt like it was just throwing pieces of your life all over the countryside, and no matter how long you look or how hard you search, you can never find all of those pieces to put your life back together? That is the story of my life. Especially when it comes to one particular aspect of my life, and that is, for as long as I can remember, I have always wanted to be an actor. Well, not just an actor, but a movie actor. So I have been grooming myself for the last 41 years and blazing my trail to movie stardom. Now, this trail began way back in high school. In high school, I became a member of the drama club. Well, not just a member of the drama club, I was the president of the drama club. Ooh. And so I was assuming that because I was president of the drama club, that would afford me some special privileges when it came to casting all of the plays. Yeah, silly me. What I realized, I remember my very first play that I auditioned for was called The Life and Death of Larry Benson. Now in this play, there were 5 male roles, and only 6 men auditioned. So I knew that I was a shoo-in because Jeff McCluskey could not act his way out of a paper bag. So that night after I went through my audition, I went home and I began rehearsing. And I rehearsed for like 3 hours. And I was rehearsing what I was going to say to Jeff McCluskey when he did not get a part in the play. You know, things like, there will be other parts. You know she likes Tom a lot better than she likes me or you, so she was always going to cast Tom. And you know, in the scheme of life, you not getting a part in this particular play is not the end of the world. So happy with all of my reenactment, all my rehearsing, I went to bed, woke up the next morning, was so excited to go in and look at the cast list and see the cast list posted up on the wall. And I began rehearsing in my head all the things I was going to say to Jeff. And I looked up at the cast list, and I couldn't believe it. My name was nowhere on the list, but Jeff McCluskey's name was right there in the last spot. I couldn't believe it. The director of the play, she actually pulled me into her office and she sat me down. And she said, I just wanted to let you know that you had a fantastic audition, but I just didn't feel you were right for any of the roles in this particular play. And I thought, well, how could that be? It called for a male. I'm a male. How much more qualified could I be? So that was my first stumbling block into my acting career. Now the next major train wreck of emotion that I had was in college. And in college, as a senior, they always call you in to do your senior review so they can put you on the right path once you graduate college. Now the chairman of our theater department, who was this nasty, witchy-looking woman, hair teased out to oblivion, and she always had this scowl on her face that made her look like she was smelling hot manure. And she opened the door to her office, and she said, "Come in." So I went in, and she said, "Sit down." So I sat down. And then she proceeded to tell me, as chairman of the theater department, it is my duty and my responsibility to set you on the path that you will follow for the rest of your life. Now, I do not believe that being in a movie is for you. Casting directors are not looking for people who look like you. I think you would do much better behind the scenes where no one can see you. I couldn't believe it. I sat there, and it was just like she took this dagger, and she like stabbed it right into my heart. And then the longer I sat there, the more angry I became. Until finally, I could not hold that in any longer, and I stood up and I said, "How dare you, you witchy woman! Just because you couldn't make it as an actress doesn't mean I can't make it as an actor." And so I ran out of the office and I slammed the door shut. I have hated that woman for the last 10 years of my life. I hated that woman actually until the day where I actually walked onto the set of my first film. That film was Universal Pictures' movie Seabiscuit. And I remember walking onto the set, and there was like this buzz going around. Everybody was so excited to be there. And we were filming that at the Kentucky Derby, and it was actually the final race scene in the film. And I remember walking into the racetrack, and when I got in there were already like thousands of people in the stands. It was really bizarre because it was eerily quiet for seeing that many people already in the stands. And the more I began to look, I noticed that they were moving and interacting with each other, but I couldn't hear any sound coming out. Because this was the very first time ever in the history of filmmaking that a film decided to use inflatable extras. So basically the stand was full of thousands of blow-up dolls. And it was our job as live actors to interact with the blow-up dolls to make them appear real. Which made me very nervous because I was never used to being with a blow-up doll in public. But it was our job to put our arms around the blow-up doll and to move the arms of the blow-up doll and to kind of talk to them and pretend like they were real people. And the people who could actually, the live actors who could actually do that the best got more close-ups in the film. So of course it really was to our best advantage to try to do as best we could acting these blow-up dolls. And things were going along pretty well until about halfway through the day of shooting, it started to get really, really cold and the wind picked up. Now when the wind picked up, the blow-up dolls, they were kind of swaying back and forth like this. But occasionally, one would break loose and float away. So it almost was like the rapture had occurred and we weren't aware of it. Now for the ones who did blow away, we were standing down here, we were really trying to act with them. Well, all of a sudden, I heard this noise. It was like a shh. And I thought at first it was the wind blowing through all of the dolls. And so I was still acting and moving the arms and doing whatever I could do to get my close-up. And I kept seeing this shh. And I noticed that the lady beside me, the blow-up doll, her dress was blowing up. And then I noticed that the guy over to the other side, he was kind of going shh. Well, because it got cold that afternoon, all of the blow-up dolls started to spring leaks. Well, not wanting to miss my close-up, I thought, quick, I found a newspaper down on the ground and I rolled it up and I stuck it right there to the lady to plug up the hole. And then the other guy, he was over here going shh. So I was over here going and he would go shh. Well, it was at that particular moment they decided to come in for my close-up. Well, yeah, they thought it was a little risque to see two men necking in the stands during a Seabiscuit race. So they actually cut my particular scene out of the film. But I didn't care because I was in a movie and my chairman of my theater department was dead.